Togo, over to you. Malibongwe. Malibongwe. Ikamala makoskazi. Thank you very much to our entertainment so far. Makoskazi nikona? Nikona nonke? Classes of Mamela President. We ANC Women's League. Simamela President of the African National Congress tonight. And women are going to speak for themselves. A very warm welcome to President Cyril Ramaphosa, who is the President of the African National Congress. You may never understand how appreciative that during the Women's Month, women are able to dialogue or have a conversation with the President of the country and the President of the ANC. Under the leadership of Umama Ubatabile Dlamini, who is the President of the ANC Women's League. With the entire leadership, the top leadership of the Women's League in front, that is going to be introduced properly to you, women of South Africa. But critical for today is one moment where, as part of our resolutions from our last conference as the ANC Women's League, where the ANC Women's League has been mandated to renew the organization, to continue to reposition itself as a vanguard of women's struggle. We have, therefore, here the leadership that is carrying us through that mandate. A moment that you can never forget, that as it is the Women's Month, we also have an opportunity where women are going to speak for themselves, not to be spoken for. We have to say to the leadership, or the leadership of the ANC Women's League is going to come before you, led by the President, to say, how far have we gone with the mandate that you gave us? How far have we gone to make sure that even the African National Congress, within its resolutions, as part of its action plan, it is able to integrate women's issues? With those few words, I wish to welcome you. My name is Thokozile Xasa. I will be one of the program directors tonight. And I am with Usisiki Sisulu as co-program director. Siyahloniphana thina. Nizamva nayo zathi sisithoko asiphetanga as IDs tonight. But it is how we respect each other as women. Sinsiki is co-program director. We'll exchange coming here in front of you. But we'll start with the national anthem. I would request all of us to stand up. A positive vibration, which is the beautiful girls on my left, are going to lead us with the national anthem.
Usibuluke
Thank you very much. Positive vibration. Nisazawubayeva. Abezelanga nje ukuzovula nge-national anthem, and they are coming in to learn a lot from the mothers who are here tonight. May I then request Deputy Secretary General of the ANC Women's League, before we can do anything, we remind ourselves as members of the ANC Women's League, as women in South Africa, that when we joined this organization, we took an oath. DSG, weziwe tikana.
Thank you, Program Director. Let me request all members to stand up and raise their right hand side. Yes. I request you to follow me. This is the oath of the African National Congress and the African National Congress Women's League. It's just a reminder to those who are members of the ANC and members of the Women's League, and also those who wish to join the African National Congress. I solemnly declare that I will abide by the aims and the objectives of the African National Congress. As set out in the Constitution, the Freedom Charter, and other duly adopted policy positions. That I'm joining the organization voluntarily and without motives of material advantage or personal gain. That I agree to respect the Constitution and the structures and to work as a loyal member of the organization. That I will place my energies and skills at the disposal of the organization. And carry out tasks given to me. That I will work towards making the ANC an even more effective instrument of liberation in the hands of the people. And I will defend the unity and integrity of the organization and its principles, and combat any tendency towards disruption and factionalism. Amandla Malibongwe igama lamakhosikazi. Thank you.
Igama lamakhosikazi ma libongwe, igama lamakhosikazi ma libongwe ma.
Emang, woza. Aibo. Anyway, Kamo. Mafumahati. Aibo. Woo! Aibo. Waza. I need you. Need to face it now. Ever two. Mato. Allah, la présidente, Allah. Tu me dis ça, présidente. Aibo. Mamiki. Aibo. Mato. Aibo. Woo!
Malibongwe. Igama lamakhosikazi. Malibongwe. Igama lamakhosikazi. Aw. Thanks, Tebogo. Thank you to yourselves, women. This is your day. This is a day with your president. Viva President Cyril Ramaphosa, viva! Viva President Cyril Ramaphosa, viva! Viva President Batabile Dlamini, viva! Viva President Batabile Dlamini, viva! Malibongwe! I am presenting before you the Treasurer General of the ANC Women's League, who is also the Minister of Women, Youth, and People with Disabilities in the presidency. Comrade Maite Nkwana Mashabane, who is going to give us a picture of who is here. Usas introduce la wonke umntu olapha, because we are saying, as the Women's League, we are the vanguard organization for women's struggles. Malibongwe.
Igama lamakhosikazi. Igama lamakhosikazi. Igama lamakhosikazi. Malibongwe. Dumelang. Absheni. Reperile. Goeienaand. More. Molo. Molo. President, the Madegwan. Varmini. President Oromaratang or African National Congress, Matamel Cyril Ramaphosa, President of, His Excellency, President of the country, the Republic of South Africa, the President of the African National Congress, President Warina Wabasadi, President Batabile Dlamini, hi. President Warina wa Maloba, Ore Maratang, O Pilanga Cheka Rosapidile na. Comrade, no siviwe, Mapisa Ngabula. Deputy President Wabasadi, Me Mantombela, Muprimiri, Wa Free State. Free State. Mongwaledi Parapar, Secretary General of the ANC Women's League. South Africa, yonke. Neokho Matuba. Le Deputy Awe. Wesi Wetikani. Hi. Member of the NWC, who's also a program director, Toko Kasa. Hi. Co-program director, I said. The other program director, Mutsubishi Jagir. And amongst us, as we celebrate this 63rd day of the famous March of 1956 on the 9th of August, we're blessed to have Mayor Sophie de Bruyn with us. Mama, Allah. Comrade President, Malibongwe, Comrade President of the ANC, we are normally not chatty like this. It's because we are very, very happy to have a Somebody called you a malume the other day. To have a caring father like you amongst us. Here, President, in this, you see members, leaders of the ANC Women's League from all corners of the country. The PECs, the RECs, and all the leadership of the ANC Women's League, they are represented in this hall to come and celebrate this very important moment with you. We are not going to make speeches. We are going to allow women to have conversations with your good self and the president of the Women's League. But amongst us here, some women are mayors, some are premiers, some are MECs, some are ministers, some are deputy ministers, some are speakers of the municipalities and speakers of the provincial assemblies. We wouldn't be overly surprised if we also have the national speaker of the assembly. We have the former deputy president of the Women's League just entering the hall now, Comrade Mavivi Miyakayaka Manzini. We also have women from other fraternal organizations. My program director said, we are the vanguard of women's emancipation throughout the country. They are all here with us. Women from business, led by Unati Nguye, cooperatives, and Ngutan, professionals, led by Dr. Zuki Goya, traditional leadership, faith-based organizations, media, women from the LGBTQIA, women from the arts perspective, young women's desk, NGOs, intelligentsia, domestic workers, unemployed women, disabled women of South Africa, women and law, women and health, and the National Executive Committee of the ANC Women's League. I shall now give this opportunity to the president of the ANC Women's League, Mayor Batabile Dlamini, to come and introduce our president to us so that we can then allow the conversation, the president of the country to come and take this conversation forward with us. Comrade Batabile Dlamini, president of the ANC Women's League. That's what is written here. Okay, it's not you. Okay, I must hand over to the program directors.
Malibongwe, Kamalama Kosgaz, President of the African National Congress, the President of the African National Congress Women's League leadership that is here present, good evening. My name is Nontsikelelo Sisulu. I stand here before you to introduce the young, vibrant women called Positive Vibrations. They're young girls. The youngest of them is 9. The oldest is 13. Ulungile has led them for the past 10 years. They will help anchor us in the reason why we celebrate Women's Month. They will take us in an artistic rendition of our very own history as South African women. Women's Month did not happen by accident. It happened because of 1956. But 1956 Women's March did not happen without being anchored on a document that informed the actions, which was the Women's Charter of 1954, which President, it said, we do not seek to create a society separate for our men, but one that is united. We stand alongside our men and share the anxiety of our men in the evils of the system of apartheid that faces us. So, President, when you felt a slight discomfort, when you didn't know whether to take the oath or not, the women have long felt that discomfort. From being excluded from the ANC itself to actually fighting for inclusion. We stand here today united and renewing the African National Congress, but we will be led by these young people so that they can go home and get to sleep. Over to you. Positive vibrations, a round of applause, ladies.
They don't give a damn about women and children. Selfish men they are. Wicked and dark soul for time after time. In this beginning of these selfish deeds from year 1, 2, 3, you can find human corpses screaming, soul torn into pieces in the bushes, pits, dark houses, and streets. Women lay there helpless, tortured, and raped. Women used in war tactic. Who to blame? Tradition or culture? Women lying faceless in the blood of abuse. Their kids kicked. Even my mother knows. Selfish men they are. They don't give a damn about women and children. Our great-grandmothers were political prisoners and sex slaves like a blind woman. Most of the women never escaped the same selfish men they are. Little girls used in porn site to advance who? The same selfish men they are. Used in porn in arranged marriages. For who? For the same selfish men they are. Now gets a girl sent to be killers. Anyeke size ngabo sumeli akawini.
Wathinta abafazi, wathinta imokodo, 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 wathinta abafazi, wathinta imokodo. You strike a woman, you strike a rock. You strike a woman, you strike a rock. You strike a woman, you strike a rock. You are affected whether you know it or not. In 1956, 9 August, the women marched in buildings in Pretoria to protest against the pastors, Amatompas, and to fight against the apartheid government.
Who must suffer solitary confinement and house arrest. Ma Lilian Goyi, Ma Albertina Sisulu, Ma Winnie Mandela, Ma Charlotte Manyama Tlake, Ma Ruth Mampati, and many, many more powerful South African women.
How many more names come to my mind? The women are the powerful force which you can always remember. Ilsiped, Mustat Uswaratipa Kabugaling. I wish I was a magician so that whenever there's crisis, I'll just say, women and mothers of Africa, break the silence.
The power of the women that strike the strength of our men. Women are so strong that even when they cry, tears don't last for so long. Women, mothers, and wives, break the silence. Only a few people know remarkable women who had full impact in the African politics. We all must admire women for their contribution and stunning commitment.
Remember the role of the women in the struggle for democracy in South Africa and to honor the role that the women play in the society.
And this is why I say, Watinta Mina, Watinti Bogod, Watinta Tina, Watinta Bafan.
You strike a woman, you strike a rock.
It is the day to think for all that the world have done to the charming color pink.
Bakai bumme Winnie Mandela.
Bakai bumme Charlotte Matleke.
Bakai bumme Lilian Goyi.
Bakai bumme Albertina Sisulu.
confidence with their harsh and sharp image. They found her so helpless, they made her to cry, they turned her life to hell and forced her to die.
But let me say a word full of hope. She made her way out and learned how to cope.
A woman, a mother, a wife, with patience to size, caring, bearing and working, still struggling with life.
The power of women is immense. The reminder of the contribution made by women, the strength that made them march to the Union building. They are like a river that flows, and all those who are thirsty can drink. They drink knowledge, perseverance, they drink motherhood. They are like nature. They give expecting nothing in return.
I was there when the women were marching to the Union buildings in Pretoria on the 9th of August 1956. We were angry and tired of being controlled and told, and we were ready to take aggressive action. I was there to fight against women oppression, to say yes to women empowerment. I said, enough is enough. We cannot be controlled, we cannot be told, and we cannot be disadvantaged.
But what? Wait, what about our freedom? No, I was there. I said, Mama, the time has finally came that we break the silence and that we say, who has first for our black land?
I was there leading the march along with Mama Sophie Teresa Williams-de-Bray. And together we said, enough is enough. Panting Amapaslo's panty. I signed a petition and took it to Stradom and would knock at room 104, and said,
Enough is enough. Panting Amapaslo's panty.
we have had enough of your demands, enough of your commands, and enough of your unfellows. You have threatened us and killed us. But today, we are here to say, enough is enough. It is our time to talk. It is our time to show you who we really are. I, Sophie Teresa Williams-de-Bray, women emancipation has not become a reality yet. There has been all sorts of good things that have come to the women because of what we have started and because of what the women before us started.
I, Winnie Mandela, I am the product of the masses of my country and the products of my enemy.
I am the product of the masses of my country and the products of my enemy. I am the product of the masses of my country and the products of my enemy. I am the product of the masses of my country and the products of my enemy. I am the product of the masses of my country and the products of my enemy. I am the product of the masses of my country and the products of my enemy.
Amandla!
Awethu!
Amandla!
Awethu!
Amandla!
Awethu!
I am Winnie Mandela.
I, Helen Joseph, I want to be here when my country is free, to know that I've earned my place in it. I, Lilian Boy, I do not want men who wear skirts under their trousers. If they do not want to act, let us women exchange garments with them. I, Ruth Mafat, we are here not because the men say so, or not because somebody has done us a favor, but because we're there when it was possible, and we're part of the fight for freedom. I, Charlotte Mahomumanya Matleke.
This work is not for yourself.
This work is not for yourself.
Kill that spirit of self and do not live above your people.
Kill the spirit of self and do not live above your people.
But live with them.
But live with them.
And if you can rise, bring someone with you.
And if you can rise, bring someone with you. And if you can rise, bring someone with you. And if you can rise, bring someone with you. I, Mama Albertina Sisulu, over the years I've got used to prison, burning and detention. I do not mind going to jail myself and have to learn to cope without daughter. But when my children were taken to jail, I felt like daughter was breaking me at my knees.
We, the women of South Africa, wives and mothers, working women and housewives, Africans, Indians, Europeans and coloreds, hereby declare aim of striving for the removal of all laws, regulation, convention and custom that discriminates against us as women and that deprive us in any way of inherent rights to the advantages, responsibilities and opportunities that society offers to any one section of the population. A single society. We women do not form a society separate from the men. There is only one society and it is made up of both women and men. As women, we share the problems and anxieties of men and join hands with them.
Women who labor, those conditions have gone. The tribal and kinship society, to which they belong, have been destroyed as a result of loss of tribal land, migration of men away from a tribal home, the growth of town industries, and the rise of a great body of rich earners on the farms and in the urban areas who depend only on manual wages for a livelihood. Equality for women. We resolve to struggle for the removal of laws and customs that deny African women the right to own, inherit, or unless property. We resolve to work for a change in the laws of marriage, such as are found amongst our African, Malay, and Indian people, which shape the effects of placing wives in the position of legal subjection to husbands and giving husbands the power to dispose of wives, property, and dictate to them in all matters affecting them and their children. Look how far we came. These are South African women. Their legacy lives with us, generation after generation. Africa was born with us. The women of Africa have paved the way for us. Our path is clear. No woman is left behind. And to those who manage these corruption, feed on the blood of the innocent children and women. Shame on you. Ma Albertina Sisulu, Ma Winnie Mandela showed us that the path to surrender is not open to us. The path to compromise is not open to us. Also, the path to keep silence is also not open to us. Only a true freedom of women economy, women independence, women presidents, women leadership, women in education, in higher education, in all sectors. Look how far we came.
Thank you very much. I think the Treasurer General was not of the African National Congress Women's League, was not amiss in her introduction earlier. She was simply khawulezering. Ebetuya khawuleza mabethuna because ixesha uthuma mina ulapha and ubamba ixesha. And so we want to be sure that the President of the Republic and the President of the African National Congress is able to hear the voices of women in terms of how we want to be integrated and ensure that we are not left behind. I would like therefore to call upon the Secretary General of the African National Congress Women's League, Ume Moho, to come and introduce the President of the Women's League, Ume Batabile Dlamini.
Malibongwe, 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 igama lamakosikazi, malibongwe, igama lamakosikazi, malibongwe. Viva! Viva ANC, viva! Viva ANC Women's League, viva! Viva COSATU, viva! Viva SACP, viva! Ayaroka! Ayaroka! Unity, unity! Unity, matabane itesha! Unity, unity. Amandla! My comrades, mina I do have a responsibility. Abantwana bethu, I do have a responsibility to introduce. Shh. My comrade. La raza. La raza. Nageta maka order. 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 My comrade, I do have a responsibility maybe to acknowledge Hore. We do have Meg Bridget Mabandla. We do have another program director, Yarona Meg Griselda. Renale, Banerasaba acknowledge Anakwe Ele. We do have Mam Sophie de Brain, and as the members of the ANC Women's League, Rarmakoskasi, Rele Amohetzi, Rito Conversa Lilona, Marina, I've been given a responsibility to introduce my comrade. Hakitivi negiri bofa hanganyana, so that her kalad introductions, really handle really organized because we must be organized. A leader of the Women's League, a mother, of course, the president, of course, longest serving Secretary General, who was also the deputy president, the deputy Secretary General of the ANC Women's League,
a former Minister of Department of Women, former Minister of Social Development, here a social worker, banna, a mother, a sister, a comrade, a friend, a leader who understands Hore Mzabalazo Wamakoskas must continue in South Africa. And that leader, but hey, Hakibika, any other person other than the president of the ANC Women's League, Comrade Batabile Dlamini. Bata, oh Batabile, Bata, Batabile, 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 oh Batabile, 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 Bata, oh Batabile, 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 oh Bata, Batabile, 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 oh Bata, oh Batabile, 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 Bata, oh Batabile, 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 Bata, oh Bata, oh Batabile, Batabile,
Malibongwe. 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 Igama lamakhosikazi. Wathinta abafazi. Wathinta imbokodo. Comrade, directors of the program, our former president, Comrade Nosiviwe Mapisa Ngagula, thank you very much for coming. And Sophie, thank you very much for blessing this occasion. Mr. President of the Republic of South Africa, as well as the African National Congress, the Deputy President of the ANC Women's League, our SG, Miojo Matuba, our DSG, Weziwe Tikana, and our TG, Maite Nkwana Mashaban. Members of the National Executive Committee. There are also PECs here from all the provinces. There are also representatives from regions. And I also saw Comrade Lindy Wezulu. Okay. And there are also deputy ministers. Ngaqali ngibiza amagama ngizoze oh nangu no Minister Khumbudzo uTengmo Sistikeledi Pinky Bavelile Noxolo Makapa Pinky Mloyi engimshilu Pinky Mloyi Notawe Chiku Cindy Chikunga Sis Bridget, thank you for coming. Our Deputy President, thank you for coming. President of Salga is also here. We also have our friends, Mr. President, we decided to invite different sectors, but they are members of the ANC Women's League. Sikhathela ukuthi abantu balokhu bethi i-Women's League ayifundanga. Yes. Nangu usis Bridget ukhona. Uyile kakhulu esikoleni. Nangu Deputy President wethu ukhona. Former Deputy President uMavivu ukhona nathi. Kade ambassador futhi. Bakhona sisinamane la, they are intellectuals. They are medical doctors. They are social workers. Ezikhona lana ngiyawazi amanye avuma kakhulu. Kuno speaker lana, no deputy speaker. Kunama whip lana. Kunama MEC lana. Kunama graduate amancane ama members Young Women's Desk. Abanye bathole ukuqhubekela phambili because of liberation that our forebears fought for, that Ma Charlotte fought for, that Ma Lillian Ngoyi fought for, that Aunt Sophie fought for. Kunama queen apa. Enanga niyawabona ayapare. Isana Marena. Kunabasemaqaweni. Kunama NGO. So different women are going to talk to the president. And we must try and be quick because today is not like yesterday, Mr. President, where we agreed you are going to meet us again, because I would like to say there are issues that we discussed with the officials of the ANC yesterday. As the National Working Committee, we were sent by the NEC and the Lekgotla to go and meet the leadership of the ANC. There is another meeting that is being prepared for the NEC of the ANC and the NEC of the Women's League. But what we highly appreciate is that the leadership listened to us. And at the end, they said, you prepared for this meeting. And therefore, anyone who wants to respond must not respond off the cuff. And the issues you've raised are very important. And they are in-house. They are family matters. So that you don't go back and touch them. The NEC said we must just raise a few. One amongst them is the issue of the unity of the ANC. That is sacrosanct. That the president is the president of all members of the ANC. And that the ANC is the leader of the society. And if the leadership of the ANC does not close ranks, confusion reigns in the country. That there are women that we come with from the NEC to the Lekgotla that we've agreed we're going to support. Mr. President, we're going to meet with the officials of the ANC in KZN tomorrow. But we are very unhappy about this culture that has been going on. A culture of making it easy to remove women from the positions they occupy. And we start, like a local government, we started at 48%, and we've gone down now. Because at all times, when there are regional conferences, those that are elected as leadership want to destabilize the whole municipalities, and they put themselves as councillors. And one of the women was attacked in the Free State yesterday. This should come to an end. We are not fellow travelers. And women have been part of the struggle. So we don't want a present, we also want to work. We do not demand a parity because we want to be looked at as those high flying people. We remain the leaders of the ordinary people, of the poor women, of the working class. And our responsibility remains that of fighting poverty, inequality, and unemployment. Mr. President, when we were preparing for the elections, we did not have our conference as the 10th province. And that disorganized us a lot because we could not come together and put those that we think should be prioritized by the Women's League. Yes, we are happy. There are 50% ministers, or cabinet is 50%. But 50% waniwenje ukuthi we did not count the president and the deputy. So udistebhekile kancane. Mr. President, the ANC is the leader of the society. And everyone is looking up to the ANC. The reason women voted the ANC into power, and the reason we've always been part of the ANC, is that the ANC is the only organization that is clear on the issues of gender equality, women's emancipation, and equity. Now, there is a problem of comrades thinking that our generations are not going to change. When we talk to younger women today, if we talk about the history, they say, no, say something else. And if we are not careful, in the near future, the very women that have swelled the ranks of the ANC are going to form their organization, and they will not care whether it is a feminist organization. As long as it would meet their demands, they will join it. We do have in the history of the struggle of women in Argentina, when a women's organization was formed, it said it was apolitical and it was joined by almost all the women. And it is a fact that organizations with women are very powerful because women are always consistent. They are committed. And the only thing, Mr. President, we want is change. The only thing we want is for the ANC not to speak in tongues. The only thing we want is for the ANC to treat all of us equally. The ANC must be consistent. If there is a problem with a woman comrade, as well as male comrades, they must be treated equally. It should not be easy to ask a woman to stand on the side and leave men continuing. And what is also important is that we learned from Ubabu Kwala during the times as Winnie, when we were busy moving up and down, running away, not wanting to accept that letter. When we called Babu Kwala said, no, Nomzamo never joined a government. Nomzamo joined the African National Congress. And therefore, the African National Congress is committed to 50%. We do not want the situation that was there during the time of Winnie to come back. We do not want to fight with our organization. And therefore, if we have to maintain this relationship that we have all worked for, let's all try and unite the ANC. Whatever we are going to bring today will never happen with an ANC that is divided, with an ANC of factions, with an ANC of cliques. We were honest when we said we are going to subject ourselves to the elected leadership. And therefore, we want everyone to treat us that way. One other most important thing we've done is to recruit young women into the Women's League. And what is important is that before young women are members of the Women's League, they are members of the ANC. And therefore, they have swelled the ranks of the ANC. And at least you are not going to have problems of leadership because the Youth League has its challenges. And we are saying the coming structure of the Youth League must be left to deal with the issues of young people. We must not be used as playgrounds or platforms of furthering the divisions and driving the agendas we don't know where they come from. Comrades, we're going to ask Comrade Unathi Mguye, Comrade N. Nguchana, Dr. Zuki Ngonya, and Itumeleng Mopedi Muloi, Princess. Laba about 4, they must quickly come up. As soon as I call your name, please come. And you only have 4 minutes. No, 4 minutes. And I hope after 4 minutes, you are going to be able to switch off the mic. Ne? Please, 4 minutes. The names that I've called, please come forward. Unathi is going to talk about women in business.
Ndiyabulela mama. Enkosi mama. Tata uMongameli qale ngawe. Bendisekhaya esilalini eMthatha eNcisi mamChapha. Omama baseMthatha bangixhelele ekhaya xa nifika for the long weekend. Sikubukele eTV xa useFreiburg. Bathi bayakuthandazela. Bayakuthandazela bonke olwesine bayadibana bathandaze ukuba ulikhokhele elilizwe. Bakuthembile bungalikhokhele elilizwe lisincede to deal with unemployment, with gender-based violence against women. Bakwazi ufundisa abantwana babo. Omama basezilalini, ngizothetha ngebusiness but a different perspective of omama basezilalini. Sifundiswe thina ngomama basezilalini bethengisa ikhaphetshu, bethengisa ifaskoti, bethengisa epeyini, bethengisa everywhere. Basifundisile siba yi-9 ekhaya sonke siye e-university. Silapha eGoli ngoku asikwazi ubashiya. Omama baseTzanini, omama baseSilimpompo, they are farming. They've got land, President. The CPA farms, bakhona abantu baseLimpopo ndihlele ecawa kwabo namhlanje. The CPA farms that were given out iziqale komama baseLimpopo, bazi-CPAs, but they cannot work on the land. Barentisa ngefarm ebantwini because they can't access finances. Igama lam ndingu-Unathi Mguye, like it said, from Omama Besizwe Investment. We've got 1.3 million women registered across the country. Our focus is active economic participation of women, not broad-based participation, active in the core value chain, in terms of board participation, decision-making, in the core business of the business, be it you are a supplier or an employee. Omama bethu baye basinceda sakwazi basiyosebenza lo msebenzi, President. We work with corporates, President, to design business models that are inclusive of umama ohlele eMusina, ulapha eGoli, because they don't need to come to Johnson & Johnson to look for opportunities. We are here for them. How do we design business models so that omama baseThembisa bazi-cooperatives, they can be suppliers for True West Fortune Group. So we work across the country, making sure that the women are included, because we are raised by women SMMEs. If we don't talk SMMEs, we talk big corporates only. Siyabazi omama bethu, they've tried their best. President, you heeded a call for the Youth Employment Services, the YES program. I also work with it, President, because we wanted to make sure that umama oseNquthu noseMsinga, a young person in Nquthu and Msinga, will be able to be covered by the money in Asopol here, but redistributed by Nedbank in Bushbuck Ridge. Currently at YES program, President, with what we did, we are at 20,000 youth employment. currently. Please help us make that call, continue with that call. And 60% of that are young women. And they send prayers because the 3.5, the first time SMS ikhala president, they go wake up their parents. So President, siyacela ukuba singomama usincede, start with young women, with small SMMEs. I know you are the father to lovely daughters. I'm also a mother to daughters. They can't find the country like this when it comes to corporate. We are number 19 in the global index in terms of leadership, as we can see here. But when it comes to economic participation and opportunities, the country is number 91. It's an anomaly, President.
Arisha Peng Matsogo. Haulu. Thank you. Sis N. Ngujan.
Let me take this. No, let me use this one. Let me take this opportunity to thank the ANC Women's League. Thank you. Let me greet and acknowledge the President of the country, the President of the African National Congress, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. Let me take this opportunity to let you know that I stand on the shoulders of giants who groomed me, and they are here in this room. Auntie Sophie de Brain, she groomed me. Comrade Nosiviwe, she groomed me. Comrade Bridget Mabandla, Noma Vivi. Yes. I come from cooperatives, President. Cooperatives in this country are at the lowest echelon of society. In this day and age, after 25 years of freedom, cooperatives are at the bottom. I don't even believe that yourselves, as the leadership, know much about cooperatives. It's sad, Comrade President, that this country does not value the cooperative model. We talk big things, big English, about radical economic transformation, monopoly capitalists, and we think that this can be eradicated by the very same monopoly capitalists. We believe that they can be and should be our partners. 25 years later, they are not, and they're not coming to the party, Mr. President. There's a model, cooperatives. We would like to spend more time with you and the leadership of the African National Congress so that we can educate you on how we can free ourselves from poverty through the cooperative model. There is no other model that is going to free us economically as South Africans and as women especially. We have learned from other countries, Mr. President, it works. In Kenya, women take their children to universities abroad, to the Americas of this world, everywhere, with money from cooperatives. They even sponsor government projects, but they were assisted by their government. This is a government that we have fought for. 17 years I was when I was in exile. We were all very young. Oh, ngiyabonga. So what we are asking in this today, Mr. President, Mambata, we are asking one thing, an indaba for our cooperatives. Yiloko nje ekusukuqelayo.
Thank you very much, Sis Anne. Dr. Gonya. Zuki. Ukai Zuki. Oh, okay. Itumeleng, traditional leadership.
Thank you very much, Member Tabile. Member Tabile, can I please request you to not start your clock now, as I'm going to ask just for an extra minute, not even a minute, just a moment, just to observe a moment of silence in honor of the Royal Crown Princess of Bakwena, Bahamopedi, in Kwakwa, Princess Manapo Mopedi, who was a woman activist who passed on and was buried on a very special day last week, Friday, which was a Women's Day. Can I take this moment just to ask for a moment of silence? May her soul rest in peace. Thank you very much. Madam President, you can now start your clock. Thank you. Honorable President of ANC Women's League, leadership of ANC Women's League in general, Makhosikazi, Makhosazana. My name is Itumeleng Victoria Mopedi Moloi. I'm standing in front of you here, being elected to be a mouthpiece for the delegation of princesses in the Free State, specifically from Thabo Mofokeng district. This delegation is sent here tonight to present issues that concern the princesses in general. We are submitting these issues to the President with the expectation of being heard, listened, and met. Honorable President, we, the princesses, remain the shadows of our brothers, our uncles, and our male cousins. We have forever remained the trophies and ceremonial figures during the ceremonies and traditional events. And when the lights go off, we are not even remembered. We are royalty. We request, Mr. President, you to be an advocate for us so that we can get expression of princesses at the gender desk within government. Princesses are never placed anywhere at this desk and other desks that are there. We request that Princesses Caucus be a funded mandate, and be an institution and be recognized. This mandate will enable princesses to access necessary resources so as to initiate, implement, and drive very critical social programs for their communities. Princesses need capacity building. Mr. President, when a princess shows up, immediately there's an expectation. People in the society are looking in their hands, what does the princess have for us? And we cannot meet those expectations. Princesses need socio-economic empowerment, Mr. President. We want to be there for our ill societies. We want to rescue our children in the rural areas. young women that are desperate in the rural areas. We want we want to rescue them from drugs and desperation. We want to work our own land. We want to create job opportunities for our rural women. We want a society that feeds itself and not depend on grants. When you deal with the radical economic development and transformation, Mr. President, please think of princesses. Honorable President, after meeting, we will be expecting and please facilitate a summit for all the princesses in South Africa, where we can share with other princesses and see and learn from each other. Thank you, ma'am. Just a moment. I'm going to skip quite a number of things. We, the princesses, again, Mr. President, we require an exclusive identity. The role of princesses in government and society so that we can access the resources that equals those that are accessed by the queens and the princes. It is also embarrassing, President, I'm going to talk to you as a woman. And as a woman president.
It's fine.
Thank you.
Let's give others a chance too.
Thank you, President. Thank you very much, President. Thank you. Okay, it is going to be quickly. It is embarrassing even during the send-offs of our princesses. We are buried just like the girl next door. Whereas we have witnessed many, many funerals of princes and chiefs being honored with the dignity they deserve. We have seen that. Thank you very much to Mewaruna Memantombela for creating this platform for us princesses. Thank you very much. Thank you, President.
Princess, platform A, we feel like Kabasadi, ba ANC, Women's League. Rialebuha, ANC Women's League. Dora Matikinga, Nomfanelo, Steve Litike, Nonka Mbonambi. Nonka uzo khulumela ma faith-based organizations and ngiyathanda ukusho lana ukuthi khona abantwana baka Bishop we Bantu Church of Christ. Yeah. Ungakhuluma into engapheli. Ngiyacela. Okay. Secretary General we Women's Wing ye Contralesa.
Malbongwe. Manbulele kakhulu ku mama President we Women's League umama Bathabile Dlamini ndiyabulisa ku President we Republic of South Africa no President we ANC ndibulisa kakhulu kubo bonke omama bakhoyo apha kwi leadership ye ANC ne ANC Women's League kama lam ndinokonwaba Mathikinqa sibulela kakhulu ndiphuma kwinhlangano ye National Zionist Missionaries Board. And we want to thank the ANC Women's League for taking us serious. We have knocked at all the doors, the African National Congress leadership. And it's only the SACC that is loved by the ANC. But when we finally knocked at the door, ANC Women's League, Elutuli House, it is the only time that we as Zionists we were taken serious. So we thank you, Mama Bathabile, and your leadership, SG. Thank you very much. Ndizokhawulezisa ngoba asinaxesha. Apha kuthiwa masithethe nomongameli welizwe, sithethe nomongameli womama. Ndithunyiwe apha ngamaziyoni, inhlangano yamaziyoni. Bathi mandicacise namhlanje kule nhlangano ndikhawulezile kubhlungu ukuthetha ungenaxesha. Uba thina singamazayoni, sisikhokhelo samazayoni. Silidisha the poorest of the poor. Ndicinga uba siyayazi sonke loo nto. Kodwa ke ndiyafuna uba before nditsho bendicinga uba ndizawubulisa isikhokelo sase Eastern Cape omama bam xa ndibabona apha I feel very humbled andikwazi ungabulisi omama uDlulane abandigrumayo so ixesha liyanditya sorry silidisha Mr President the poorest of the poor and we are in touch with abo bantu banjalo. They are frustrated and the ambitions zabo azide zifezekiseke. Thina ke ngoku njengabantu abasesenda sifilisha frustration njengabantu abaphethe iBayton. Kukho into endicinga ba ke mhlawumbi sizawuthi sisayichaphazela kuthiwe xenophobic. Mr President masithethe inyani singamazayoni sihleli pha emagalini emikhukhwini isihlupha kakhulu into basibona ba urhulumente wethu without being xenophobic uprioritize iforeigners. Siyibona thina ngolo hlobo we stand to be corrected. Ngoba kaloku sihleli phayana and we are just spectators sibukele yonke economy ekhoyo ekuhlaleni has been taken by foreigners. Wonke umuntu osekuhlaleni ujonge njengomuntu yena omakabe involved kwi crime omakasebenzisa drugs abantwana bethu bathe gaphu kwi drugs silibandla siyafuna into bana mayikijongwe lento without being labeled as xenophobic but it is the reality because the foreign nationals have taken over so siyafuna into ba mayilungiswe lonto. Sinabo ebandleni sikhawulezile apha asifuni ke uzo-highlighter i-problems kuphela but we are saying Mr President sinazo solutions sinabo abantu abafundisiweyo we do have businesses ezikhoyo prepared to plow back but into eyenzekayo xa ziqalisa into bana ukuze siyonkqonkqoza emnyangweni we-ANC Women's League kukuba xa ziqalisa ukuza ne-ideas kufuneka zibe involved kwi-bribery. Sifuna ukwazi ke ngoku again silibandla ukuba bani kanye kanye ophetheyo kukho i-politicians kukho i-officials mambathabile because what happens is that every time sizama nkokheli yam ukuthetha ne-politicians izinto ziyasabotajwa by the officials. We do have examples. Xa ndizayishwankathela nasi isicelo sethu on the 31st of August xa kuvalwa kanye unyaka siyanimema mama eMonti amaziyona azawube egcwele ethe qhu sivala unyaka woomama bazawube bepha simema kanye upresident womama simema upresident welizwe khona ukuze sikwazi ukuba sixoxe zonke izinto ezichaphazela umzi wakwaZayoni. Thank you very much ma'am.
Matiking hamba uqhawula ku president ubuyi usenza i-agenda yakhe la nathi nezinye izinto esifuna sine high tea eKapa si unveila amatshe Free State eWinburg mama Matiking nxa president ngiqala kumbona ngathatheka kakhulu yini eyangithatha wathi ngibuyile angizusebenza ndawo anginawo umsebenzi kodwa ngicela ningiphe iplatform ngengixelela abanye abantwana abancane ukuthi iDA ayibafuna abantu abamnyama wayekade eku-DA within a short space of time wa resign wabuya weza Khongolose. Siyabonga kakhulu. Steve 5 minutes Steve.
Malibongwe igama lamakhosikazi. That does not include my time. With all due respect, let me save time because I do need this time. But I do greet the President of Women's League and the leadership, our President of the ANC and of the Republic of South Africa, Mama Sophie de Bruyn, Realeboha. For all your work, ANC Women's League Realeboha, Kalona Kaufela.
Women marched on the 9th of August in 1956. Women marched the following years. They continued to march, and they marched again on the 1st of August when there was a total shutdown. Women continued to fight for equality, for freedom, for rights, to live freely. Women are not a homogeneous group. Women are diverse, and our identities, our bodies have now become sites of struggle. Our bodies, our identities, the president, have become sites of struggle. Our intellect is undermined. We are young. We have different diversity identities. We are rejected by our families. We are rejected in schools. We are rejected in work. We are rejected in leadership. We are also rejected at churches, at our traditional homes, at our villages. You must know that. We are rejected because we are women and we identify as lesbian, as trans, as queer, and as intersex. Now, it's very important, President, to look at this because there's double stigma, discrimination in this case. Many of us will continue to resist, and thanks to the Women's League for opening up clearly and unapologetically that space. We resist, and we resist to be left behind. We resist if policies are going to leave us behind. We resist where our struggles are not shared, because we continue to share struggle. It does not matter who you are. We have women who also fought, who identified as lesbian. Abu Bev Ditsi, who was the first black lesbian from Soweto to address Beijing platform in 1990. Abu Pumim Tetwa, who were the architects also of the Constitution. Also, Abu Vanessa Ludech, who fought for women in the farms and in the rural areas. I stand here as a woman who refused to separate my struggle as a lesbian woman, as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter, as a spiritual person myself, as a leader and as a teacher. While many of my constituency continue to live in fear, they continue to die brutally, they continue to be subjected to horror every day in the corners of our country, in the corners of Africa, we are left behind. Therefore, President, you must be intentional, you must be intersectional, based on issues that speaks to the struggle of patriarchy and misogyny, struggle that continue to sideline women in diversity on economics, in social, in politics, and again as well in structural issues. I can see you, my president. And lastly, two last points. It's the issue of being intentional in the ANC, but also in government. There's no place for homophobia. There's no place for transphobia. We have failed Abu Kasta Seminya. It can never do that anymore. We continue to fail Abu Lebukhang, Abu Banyana UDC Melani. We cannot do that anymore. So I'm asking you, President, be intentional, set up an institutionalized committee in government that will focus on LGBTI issues on work, on social and policy, including in the ANC. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Steve. Kune note engibhalelwe umama uJolene Fenyana ethi, Mr. President, my daughter's name is Matumelo Tinswalo Wilkim. She's a PhD student focusing on investments between China and South Africa. She has been trying to have interviews with the Minister of Transport, Trade and Industry, and the Honorable President. And she's not been getting responses. So I'm going to plead that we give Utintswalo an opportunity. She is studying at the University of Nottingham in the UK. Thank you. Akakafiki unomfanelo nonka uzolandelwa uAnisa from nonka arts perspective usebenza ku archives of the ANC unonka. We have two young women that have been employed by the archives, the ANC. So cela Anisa, where is Anisa? Sicele uMandisa Monakali. Sicele uSisinamane Makhawu. Bazolandelana kanjalo 5 minutes asikakhohlwa ne? Oh, 4 minutes asikakhohlwa. Was us 4 minutes.
Greetings to the House at large. Mr. President, I'd like to greet you personally. That was weird. Firstly, I'd like to speak on my very brief journey at the African National Congress Archives Unit. I actually am a curator by profession, and I love visual arts. And me coming into the ANC, I've actually found a place for myself because I love art. And then my great awesome mothers, Umamba Tabile, SG, have sent me into the archives unit where I'm doing actually what I love, where I'm working with art every day. I'm finding the history of the ANC and finding a new perspective on how to actually have exhibitions for the people, because all of our work is for the people and by the people. But I'd love to address the President and find out, the last time I had you speak, you spoke of how, as young people, if we want to start up our own businesses, we should actually speak to the National Youth Development Agency. And I actually have met up with a lady from the NYDA, because I've sent in a lot of requests there, and they haven't responded to me. And what she told me is that they can't actually help me. They'd rather help someone to open up a spaza shop than open up an art gallery. And that actually shook me, because it made me understand that a lot of young people or black people or people that are working within the art space don't understand what art is. I actually was researching a few days ago, and the art industry is worth $796 billion US, and then 19 billion of that comes from South Africa. And you saying that we should go to the NYDA and ask for funding, they actually can't fund us because they don't understand art and how we have to sell art. So I'd actually ask if we could actually meet up with you sometime and discuss these, because I feel like young black people are art ourselves. We are African, and African people are art. Art for us is not for display. I was speaking to Uma about how in the Free State, Sotho women used to actually paint on their houses, and this is a skill that they used to actually protect themselves from evil spirits and things like that. But nowadays, we actually don't use that. People from England will come to South Africa and take that skill to England and actually start selling bags that have images of South African women and painting houses in Africa. And they make money and we don't. So I actually want us to actually talk on that, and I'm hoping that you're actually going to talk to me about it, because you promised that last time in the lift.
Thank you, Nonga. Anis.
Thank you very much. Amandla! Amandla! Long live the ANC, long live. Long live the ANC, long live. Long live the ANC Women's League, long live. Long live the spirit of Mom Winnie Mandela, long live. Long live the spirit of Charlotte Mateke, long live. Long live the spirit of Lillian Goy, long live. Thank you very much. To the Honorable President, Comrade President Cyril Ramaphosa, to the Honorable Comrade President of the Women's League, Mambatabile Dlamini, the Deputy President, SG, DSG, TG, Program Directors, all protocols observed. As introduced, my name is Anisa Mazimpaka. I won't go into credentials because we've been summarized by time. So to commence, I just want to say that as South Africa, we face triple challenges of unemployment, poverty, inequality. Now imagine adding to the fact that you're a woman, you're young, and you're black. That's quite a nightmare. When asked to speak today, I didn't really know what to say, but I just said, I'll have to speak what I know, but I'd have to summarize because we have 5 minutes now, 4 minutes. Okay. I saw a post the other day that's stating that men always talk about their crazy exes, and you hardly hear these stories of women because they don't always make it out of the relationship alive to tell their tales. And this is us summarizing our experiences as women. As women, we're told how to look, what to say, what not to say, and all of that. But just to summarize, I'd like to, as a young woman, call for the enhancement of women in education, both undergrad and postgrad. As a comrade, I've held leadership positions at the university, but as a comrade, and over the years, I've seen many comrades, and especially women, drop out of university because of issues of funding, and this is something that's very close to my heart of the educational element. Women in politics, this is a very brutal, very misogynistic, very patriarchal space, and I think a lot of women here can attest to that. When I was elected Nobala of the branch, the males thought it was just Nobala by title. And we had to put our foot down, called my female comrades of the BEC, and we had to show these men that we were about business, and we were going to do what we were elected to do, and we were not going to be told by men as to how and what to do. That time, the Young Women's Desk didn't, it wasn't in existence, but I'm really glad that it is in existence because the Young Women's Desk has taken upon a lot of challenges. But just to sum it up, I'd like to ask the President to first and foremost fast-track the issue of sanitary towels. This is a problem that many, many young women face across the country, and it has to deal with dignity. We also call for empowerment talks, Mambatabile Dlamini, with powerful women who have fought during apartheid. As women, as young women, we'd love to hear stories of those who still are alive, so as to learn the lessons and so as to move forward. But other than that, I'd like to just conclude with the words of Mom Winnie Mandela, who said that I am the product of the masses of my people, yesterday, today, tomorrow. Amandla! Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Disciplined, exactly allocated time. Mandy?
And Sophie, Mr. President, as NGOs, we've been there before, and we are still there. As the President of the Women's League has said, we'll be celebrating as an organization 30 years as Little Abantu. 30 years. And we are having that high tea on the 31st. And that high tea, we have one shelter in the Western Cape. It's named under Mama Zihlangu. Those who know the history of the Western Cape will know Mama Zihlangu. It's the only shelter for abantu abamnyama in Western Cape. Mr. President, as NGOs, as I said, we've been there before, and we are still there. And the problem is we are not even supported by our home. Our own is not supporting us. Well, what I mean, our own government is not supporting NGOs. You know, in the Western Cape, we won't get funding. Particular organizations as Fananeli Talabantu, they have been told that, they're associated with the ANC. But for 30 years, you can imagine, When ILITA was started 30 years ago, it was before democracy and was still here today. But, Mr. President, one of the things I would like to say tonight, organizations have been fighting against violence against women, but today they have been sidelined. Why? We hear even today that there is a summit that is going to come up on social cohesion. Which organizations are involved there? Because most organizations don't even know about that summit. And Kutwa is from the President's office. And our government, our own, really, we need support from them. And I thank you, President of the Women's League. When you were the Minister of Social Development, you made it a point that our organizations are being recognized. And we thank you for that. And also, now when you look at our past, our communities, you look at what is happening in our communities. NGOs used to be the ones who were taking care of communities. But today, the space of NGO, Mr. President, is shrinking. And what is happening in the Western Cape, while we are playing and fighting, they are taking over the NGOs. They are supporting their NGOs in the Western Cape. And I'm saying this because as our organizations, we become victims of that. Also, Mr. President, as I said earlier, our communities are in crisis. They are falling apart. And lastly, Mr. President, I would like to appeal to you. Be bold enough and give us that space as NGOs, even to build the Women's League, even to build the ANC. NGOs have been there. NGOs have been fighting even before. Can we have that space so that we could assist the ANC and the Women's League as NGOs? You know which organization belongs to you. You know those organizations. Can you please ask even ministers to support us? Thank you very much.
I thought you were going to talk about CSW next year.
Next year will be celebrating 25th anniversary of Beijing. And some of us were there in 1995. Usis B, Noma Vivi, and some of other comrades here. Next year, we'll be celebrating Beijing 25. And President of the Women's League, we need to go there in numbers. You know, when we're at CSW, there's only one organization which carries the flag of this country, and we'll keep on doing that, and we need your assistance. Thank you.
Thank you. Mandisa, indlela yakho. Si celebrate futhi no resolution 1325, which is about women and armed conflict. Sisnamane.
Thank you very much, our President of the ANC Women's League, Batabile Dlamini, for bringing us together. And also, I would like to acknowledge and to highly appreciate the presence of our President of the African National Congress and our President of the country, Cyril Ramaphosa. Ladies, this is a very special evening. I think we need to applaud. And again, to thank our Women's League President for having organized this event and also for the leadership of the ANC Women's League for having created this special platform for us to engage with our president. We might not be aware what a special moment it is for this country. When one reflects, for instance, on the developments that are taking place in the continent, you are aware that there has been an inter-Africa trade agreement that has just been signed. You are aware that the president is just coming back from a SADC summit. You are aware that countries are now taking Africa so much more seriously. Ladies, this is a very special moment. We are also in a country that has invested extensively in developing women. We've seen over the past 25 years, Mr. President, how through our great movement, the ANC and its government, we saw much higher levels of representation of our children in universities. We've even seen more women graduating in some sectors than men. A key challenge we still face, however, is the fact that women in higher education, and now we have very brilliant women vice chancellors, Mamu Kheti, for instance, and we would like to see many more of those kind of leadership. But with more of our people now graduating, Mr. President, from universities, they come out of universities and there are no jobs. And that is frustrating. I was delighted and inspired when, Mr. President, you organized that investment summit, which brought together South Africans from business, from government, from NGOs, from all communities. And the excitement and the international community was abuzz about South Africa as an opportunity and an area of investment. And to show that, quite a lot of investments were starting to flow in. And there was an important issue that was raised, that it is now time to fold our sleeves and work. Mr. President, I'm going to raise something probably that my honorable president has said we don't have to raise anymore. This country cannot wait and have its time wasted by squabbles. And we would like to see greater unity. Tonight is a special evening because our own president is here, called by our president of the Women's League. And now we feel that we are in good hands. Mr. President, when there is unity, there is growth. When there is stability, there is growth. But also, there's a statement that Mr. President said earlier on, Tumamina. Each one of you has got to be active in creating an enabling environment for investments to come in, for peace to happen, for education to take place. Finally, in closing, I'm going to ask you, Mr. President, to think about a major come together, bringing together government and business. Because we have reached a point where there are brilliant policies being developed and also investments coming in. Let us focus more on that and building this alliance between business and government so that our children can get jobs, so that our enterprises can grow. Malibongwe.
Thank you, Sis Namane. Thank you very much. So, Florence Sosiba, representing domestic workers. Florence. Sicele Masingita, representing disabled women or women with disabilities. Sicele Advocate Nomazocho Memani to speak on women and the law. And Sicele Dr. Aquina Tulare, Women and Health. And lastly, sicele Ambassador Mqulwana to speak on international issues. Tell us this.
Amandla. Amandla. Viva ANC, viva. Viva Women's League, viva. Viva Young Women's League, viva. Viva COSATU, viva. Viva SACP, viva. Viva Sanko, viva. Amandla.
Comrades, comrade uhlale vuka every day bayalwa kusekta yakhe. So uviva umjwayeli. Umjwayeli uviva ninga complain. Uviva owethu.
All right. Okay. Comrade, ngiyabingelela igama lami ngoFlorence Sosiba, and then ngibuya ku domestic workers Satsawu. And then ngi domestic workers, and then I'm very proud to be domestic workers. Why ngisho njalo ukuthi I'm very proud ukuthi ngibe domestic workers? Because siyenza umsebenzi obaluleke kakhulu. Bonke abantu laba baklin laba nama domestic workers mabayima la bayiqhenya because bagcoke kahle ba ayinekile. Izandla zethu lezi senza zona. And sibo breadwinner because sisebenza ezindlini nishiya izindlu zimixele manje buya thola izindlu zeni zinice and clean. And izandla zethu lezi. No president mehleli la uhlelo uklinelwe yithina ama domestic workers. Nithi mani imake ayime unpresented nimbone emuhle yilezi izandla zethu lezi esisebenzayo. Comrade angifuna ukumosha isikhathi. Mr. President, ngiyanibingelela. Mina ngiyakhuluma ngiyabulabula but ngiyakhuluma wonke language ngiyamixa. Yeah. Yes. President, siyabingelela thina ama domestic workers shothi sine problem. I problem yethu I minimum wages, national minimum wages. Ne coda. Because masiti siyabheka ku coda and then thina asifakwanga ngaphakathi thina ama domestic workers. Ene siyalimala emsebenzini, siyagula emsebenzini, and then ama employees wethu athi me ecetha ke and then aqashe omunye umuntu and then wena ke ulimela awusakwazi ukusebenza. Si tryile sonke isikhathi siyamasha siyenza everything sa ama domestic workers but impendulo asitholi. Siyacela Mr. President uthi nale mali lesiholayo I-2,500 and 3,500 asinelsek thina ngayo because sinabantwana sibo single mother siyafundisa abantwana bethu laba abahola imali eningi laba abafundisa khona abantwana bethu bayagibela benza zonke izinto senza the same thing and siyasupporta nathi but le mali is asikho happy ngayo. And Mr. President sifuna ukubuza ukuthi thina ke zonke izinto mazenzwa thina ama domestic workers always sisala emuva
kusho ukuthi asinakwa yini but sicela ukuthi nisinake because nathi sibalekile kakhulu. Yebo, siyayinid imali, sinemndeni, siyasupporta, siyenza zonke lezi zinto. And then ke ikhoda siyacela ukuthi Mr. President anisinakekele ngekhoda please. Ku domestic workers sisebenza kakhulu, sima member ANC and siyavotela ANC and siyacampaigna ku ANC. Even myself ngikhulela khona ku ANC ngisebenza ngiyi-domestic workers, ngeke ngangena ngaba candidate kukhombisa ukuthi ngiyasebenza ANC ngiyayithanda and ngiyayifavor and ngikhulela kuyona and ngizofela kuyona. Manje that's why nathi i-government ifanele isinakekele ukuthi siyayisupporta this i-government. President siyakusupporta and then sizowa nawe sivuke nawe, but sicela ukuthi nisicabangele. Siyabonga kakhulu thina si-union ama-domestic workers and then ngimember Ward 88 ku-Henry Mahori branch and then izone yami is the zone 16. Ngiyima la ngiyimela bonke abantu ama-domestic workers and the Women's League.
Thank you very much. Iyangalena sithandwa sami. Ikhoida, Mr. President. Khoida ongqongqoshe hambani niyokhulumisana noKhoida nikhulume no Minister of Labor. Ya nangu Deputy Minister of Labor uzokhuluma naye before uhambe. Nangu Pinky Masingita
can I speak, please? Okay. Mr. President, Mamba Tabile, and all the women, good evening. So, Nzigi and I were at the airport in June. And as we were going out, someone who is a struggle hero passes us and say to Nzigi, Sisulu, where is Mom? Nzigi says, she's in Ghana doing her work. Then this woman, who is a struggle hero in her own right, gives this patronizing, condescending gesture to that. Because even though before Mama acquired a disability, they were equals. Now that she has a disability, traveling alone is an achievement. What does that do to a dignity of a woman who's being reduced to an invalid who cannot travel on her own? A few years ago, when my nieces were 4 years old, we were outside our home in Guyana. A man who's got a mental illness passes by, and my nieces call him by his name. He's much older. I observed what my parents would say, and they said nothing. Then later, there was life as it demanded. Everyone was shocked. Everyone went on condemning people who made the decision. Then I said to my parents, you see, the people who made that decision are that 4-year-old niece of mine who was never told that just because that man has a mental disability, you don't call him by name in our African culture. You respect him, he's human. These are the stories of our lives. Our dignity is stripped day in and day out. The last time we were together, I said, pity, sympathy, support are not a currency. I don't go to the shop and they say, action, and they give me goods and commodities. So, Mr. President, until that day when there's inclusion of people with disabilities in every sphere of society, and including economy, until, Mr. President, there are equal opportunities, including until there are equal opportunities for us, until my intellect and my emotional intelligence is not questioned just because I have a disability. Until that day, a woman with a disability can go to the maternity ward and not being asked, how did she get pregnant? Until that day, when my decisions as an adult, I don't have to explain or account to anyone. Until such a day comes where we are really treated as equals. I cannot speak as a woman in this country. That would be ticking a box. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Masingita. This year, was it this year, Ntigi? Masingita, with her friends, drove from Cape to Cairo. Drove from Cape to Cairo. Arshapeng matsogo mangabe sifuna ukuyishaya. Ngasabi. Okay, unemployed graduates, Connie Sichio, ne? Thank you.
Dumelang bomme. Dumelang kaohlompha kaofela batho ba leng teng, Mr. President. Re lebohela monyetla o re fuweng today. I stand here as a woman who has been living with HIV for the past 23 years of my life. And I come from an age when HIV was a death sentence. So we didn't even know that we would get our master's degrees. We would occupy spaces in the boardrooms. And when the time came, corporate South Africa was not ready for us. So I end up being unemployed with all the education that I have and all the accolades. Not because I want to, not because I don't have the skills, not because I am lazy, but because corporate South Africa cannot handle a woman who says, I am a woman, I am infected with HIV. I didn't ask for it, I didn't invite it in my life, but I am dealing with it, and I have the same right to be in this boardroom as you do. They question how we make our decisions. You go away on leave because you've got flu, you come back, you are offered incapacity. What does that do to your career? Mr. President, we need help as women who are living with HIV. We are getting to an age where we are aging with HIV. There's no support for us. The medication that we take takes so much out of our bodies. We end up giving birth prematurely. I gave birth to twins at 24 weeks. 24 weeks is 5.5 months. My daughter spent 4.5 months in hospital. My son passed away in my arms at 2 months. Medical aid doesn't cover most of the things that we go through because I'm predisposed to HIV. I ended up with a bill of 2 million rands. We had to sell what we call a home, my mother's home. And last year we sold my house. I'm 5 to being homeless, and yet I am a graduate with 5 distinctions in my name. It cannot be. It cannot be that we are being punished for something that we did not ask for. And it is not said. Discrimination is something that is so painful because you cannot pinpoint it. And I'm not the only one. There are women in this house that are not allowed to enter a room because we suspect that they are HIV positive. They are not allowed to share the same plates with us because we suspect that they are HIV positive. They are not allowed to share the same bedrooms, the same restrooms, the same boardrooms with us because we suspect they are HIV positive. It's enough. We are here, we are alive, and we require to be respected and for our voices to be heard because we understand the sound of our own voices and we understand the power that comes with that voice, and we won't be quietened up. Help me to speak my truth. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. You've covered 2 issues. Thank you very much. A double multitasking. Women, yes. Nomazojo, advocate, advocate Nomazojo Meman. 5 minutes, Zojo. 4 minutes, Zojo.
Thanks very much, President of the ANC Women's League, for inviting me to come and talk here about women in law. We've got an organization that is called South African Women Lawyers Association, which used to be very, very, very active during the time of CISP. Sis Bridget, when she was the Minister of Justice. And then when she left, it became a desk somewhere. Anyway, let me acknowledge the leadership of the Women's League, acknowledge the President, acknowledge the ministers and the deputy ministers that are here, and all protocol observed. Few things that I want to raise with you, Mr. President. One thing that you must know, Mr. President, women lawyers, they like you very much. And they support you. However, there are just few things that women would like to have a conversation with you. Very few things with you, not necessarily you or perhaps your delegation. And please don't, in that delegation, don't forget to put the minister who's sitting next to you. In South Africa, we've got top 5 white law-led law firms that are based in Sandton. And now they are international lawyers. They practice throughout the world. And when you ask them, where do you get these briefs? They say, from the government. The reason being that the government gives lucrative work to white law firms. White male law firms. And the other thing that I would like to raise with you, Mr. President, women lawyers are scared of taking positions, leadership positions. Sometimes you find that there's a position, for example, a position of the public protector. Let me make an example of that. And then there were a number of women, including myself, I was approached to apply. But then we become very scared because once you take a position, then you become a subject of criticisms. That she's a woman, she's a what. And I will make a simple example, President. There was a case about I think it was sometime last year, about the powers of the public protector.
And then in that particular case, there was a woman lawyer who's an SC, and then who represented the parliament, Madam Speaker at the time, Ulindi. And then she got a brief, and then when she presented the brief in court. I mean, then later on she was criticized. You know, we are human beings, we are mothers, you know, we nurture and everything, so it really affects us as women. And then we would like also to have a conversation, as I've indicated, to discuss, Mr. President, you know, the government and also the private sector briefs. Because the private also briefs lawyers, but then the private, when it briefs lawyers, they also have their own selection, and then which is sometimes contrary to what the government is saying. So we'd like to discuss that. We also have solutions, Mr. President. We don't just want to put you in a room or your delegation in the room, but we will say we think that this and this, these are the solutions. I mean, we were in the struggle. We didn't just become the... Mr. President, there are still apartheid laws that needs to be reviewed. We are prepared to can help Parliament on pro bono basis, Mr. President. Mr. President, we are trained mediators as lawyers. You are a lawyer yourself. You know, lawyers are mediators. You know, every time you listen to the news, you read the newspapers, it is very embarrassing to hear what is happening in the leadership of the organization. Please, ANC Women's League, please, ANC, utilize us. We can mediate because we are not in the space of the positions, but we can mediate and be able to assist this movement. Thank you very much, Madam. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Ezojo. Uma ngabe kunzima for people that have been to school, kunjani for umama oseyilalini, umama oku informal settlement, umama osebenza emaplazini, umama onama temporal job angakhavwanga. Inzima indaba yamakhosikazi, i-triple oppression ikhona iyaphila. Was that Dr. Tulare?
4 minutes. Malibongwe. Igama lamakhosikazi. Thank you very much, President of the ANC Women's League. Thank you, President of the Republic and the ANC, for allowing yourself to come and listen to us as we complain and want to have some conversation with you. And the leadership of the ANC Women's League, ministers present, but more importantly, Mama Sophie Tiprain, halala. President, we first want to remind ourselves that health is a prerequisite for sustainable development and for poverty eradication and general socio-economic development. Therefore, President, we want to remind ourselves again that as we look at health, we must not just look at health simply from a curative biomedical approach, but we must look at all aspects of health, including what we call socio-economic factors, social determinants of health, but importantly, also indigenous knowledge systems that underpin traditional medicine, which many women are practitioners of. President, we want to appreciate the intervention that you have made in addressing the crisis that has been described in our health system. The crisis of human resources, the crisis of medicines being available in our facilities, our dilapidated health infrastructure, our services that we deliver, especially in the public health system, the fact that our health system has been described as poorly governed and unaccountable. We also want to appreciate the leadership that you have shown in leading us to the 4th industrial revolution through digital health in the health system. President,
We also want to applaud you for leading the struggle that we are currently engaged in. If you watch TV today, you will see that there's a bloodbath on TV because many people are challenging our policy, the policy of the ANC of implementing national health insurance. President, we want to assure you that as health workers, health professionals, we are fully behind the leadership that you are providing in ensuring that we implement this policy. We will fight even for those naysayers who have got big pockets, who are putting lots of experts in the media to challenge this policy. We as health workers are fully behind and appreciate that. But President, whilst we say that, before they remove me from the stage, I want to highlight one thing that we as health workers are very worried about. If you look at our cities and our communities, our cities are dirty. If you come to CBD, you'll find big rats, and we know that rats carry diseases such as bubonic plague. As women, we are very worried that one day we will fix the health system, but we will be getting diseases from the filth that is in our cities and communities. President, we are also worried that our children are exposed to narcotics such as nyaupe, and we seem to be at a loss on how we are going to address this scourge. As health workers, we see this in our communities. If you go down the CBD in Pretoria, you will see there's a street where there's a colony of nyaupe users, and they are sitting there helplessly, and we are helpless. We cannot help them. Please, President, help us to intervene in this. President, there are many other things that I want to talk about, but they say I must stop talking now. Thank you, President.
At a city, NHI now. NHI now. NHI now. I think we are all going to go where we come from and ensure that we support the Minister of Health, Comrade Zweli, on the issues of NHI. It is for us, it is about us. Angithi? So namanje sithi sonke NHI now. Intoni makhosikazi Women's League? NHI now. NHI now. Ambassador.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Mr. President, President of the Women's League and the leadership, all protocol observed. Mr. President, I'm being asked to speak to you. We are a special guest on this event. There are a number of young women that have asked me that I should speak on implementation. These young women are saying we've got good policies, but where we lack is implementation. And I want to, one, they've indicated to me, Mr. President, that South Africa is now in the Security Council. There is an important resolution, Resolution 1325, which speaks to peace. And I'm sure in any society, Mr. President, you will agree that there is no one that is having peace than women that you see themselves here. And I'm of the view, Mr. President, that soon you will be chairing the African Union. And in the African Union, we are speaking about less than 6 months. We need to be silencing the gun. We need to be evaluating whether
Are we going to achieve that? I really think that that is important. But as you will be chairing African Union, we think it is important that we deal with the sustainable development goals. They are very, very important. Sustainable development goals are very important. And I'm happy because I'm just speaking after Doctor who was raising this issue of the waste that is there all over. Our public parks are now a place for rubbish. And countries like Sweden, Switzerland, they are taking waste from other countries and reproduce it and sell it to us. So waste and the way we think, sustainable development goals speak to what we see. Our people need to see that waste as gold, but we need to empower them. Mr. President, before you have just received a report on land. And what is there for us as women? And I really think it's also important that as a nation we don't discuss issue of land in isolation with water. How many women that are having water licenses? And we therefore request that the present administration should look at women getting license for water. The second thing that I want to speak to about is urbanization. The experts are telling us that urbanization is before us. What is there for us? So we really think that it is important that when the infrastructure is developed, because so many people will be living in urban areas, women must get a stake. That is very important. The last one, we want to think globally, but act locally. We are part of the BRICS grouping. What is there for women in terms of BRICS Bank? I don't have time. I've got other issues that I want to raise. I really think that implementation is very important.
Mr. President, women have addressed some of the important issues. Some have not been mentioned. We have a lot to say, but also we are prepared to put our shoulders on the wheel and be part of changing the quality of lives of the ordinary masses of South Africa. Women who are a motive force that will never stop being part of the struggle, that will never stop protecting the ANC, because they stand to benefit from the liberation of the people of this country. We would like to request the President, the former SG of NUM, the former leader of UDF, a student leader, former SG of the ANC, Deputy President of the ANC, the President of the ANC and the country to come and address us.
Amanda! Amanda! Forward with ANC Women's League, forward! Forward with ANC Women's League, forward! Amanda! Comrades, thank you. Thank you, comrades. President of the ANC Women's League, Secretary General of the ANC Women's League, Deputy President of the ANC Women's League, Deputy Secretary General, other officials of the ANC Women's League and members of the National Working Committee and the NEC, Umama uSophie Brain isithwalandwe, former President of the ANC Women's League, Comrade Nosiviwe, Comrade Mavivi, Comrade Bridget, and all other comrades who are here, ministers, deputy ministers, and MECs. This, for me, is a very special moment. Very, very special. And that is why I decided to wear this jacket. Now, in case some of you don't know, this is an ANC Women's League jacket given to me. Lona halina le siaparo sa lona se tswang ho ANC Women's League. Le nna ke na le saka se tswang ho ANC Women's League. Ke sona se. Comrades, we don't have a lot of time, and this for me is a truly special evening. I did not know that it would be as wonderful, as warm, as fantastic like this when I accepted the invitation. And today you have proven to me once again that the ANC Women's League is often underrated. It's often underrated, and I saw it with my own eyes during the election campaign. If there is one structure of the ANC that excelled more than all the structures, it was the ANC Women's League. You were all over. You were all over. You painted the entire country black, green, and gold. And the Amayanga Yanga were like the real stars. And comrades, you are acting to your real greatest gift, which is to unite the African National Congress. President Batabile Dlamini said, the unity of the ANC is sacrosanct. We can never, ever give up on uniting the African National Congress. That is the mandate that we were given at Nasrec, that after a bitter contestation amongst us as comrades, in the end, a united leadership was elected, and the mandate was go out and unite the African National Congress, go out and renew the ANC. And comrades, we are in the process of uniting the ANC. Whether they like it or not, we are doing precisely that. There are some in our land who do not really like the ANC united, but we are going to disappoint them. This ANC is going to emerge more united than they have ever seen. And we are going to work on unity together. But I'm very pleased that the ANC Women's League is at the head of this process of unity. You are working daily, and I can see it and I can feel it, that the ANC Women's League is determined to ensure that we forge unity in our movement and also that we renew our movement. This dialogue is part of the renewal process of the African National Congress. But it is also about consolidating that unity so that the ANC should emerge as the leader of society. Now, the ANC is the only organization that I know of in the whole country, as was said earlier, that has greater clarity about gender equality. No other organization gets close to the ANC. But the ANC Women's League is the only organization that I know which has launched a struggle over the years about ensuring that there's gender equality, and that has been achieved in the African National Congress, and we have gone beyond that. Our parliament today is 47% women represented. And we did not have that in the past. And women of our country, you can applaud yourself for having achieved that. And the ANC Women's League has led that struggle. And yes, correctly, today we are able to talk about 50% ministers in our cabinet. I did say on Women's Day that the only fly in the ointment, there are two flies in the ointment, is the president and the deputy president. But we have, for the first time in the history of our country, we've got 50-50 men and women amongst our ministers. And that is something to be proud of. We have to be proud of the victories that we keep on scoring. We also have to be proud of, comrades, that in an area that matters the most, education, in our institutions of higher learning, 58% of the young people who go to our tertiary institutions are women. That is something we've got to be proud of. And this has happened because of the struggles that were waged by Abu Mamu Sofiti Brain, Abu Mamu Sisulu, Winnie Mandela, Lillian Ngoyi, and the struggle that continues to be led by this collective that you see in front of you. your leaders of the African National Congress Women's League, as well as all of you who are here. Tonight, you really regaled me, because all the things that you raised are things that are doable. I can tell you now, I can go through each one of them. They are doable. We are prepared to do them, and we are going to do them because it is important for us to empower the women of our country. Unati, who is in business, stood up, and I immediately said, Unati, I want to work with you. Because, yes, we are going to work with her. Because in the presidency, we have taken up the issue of youth empowerment. We have taken up the issue also of empowering the women of our country. She spoke about the Youth Employment Service, which since we started it has now brought in 20,000 young people, and the number is going to gallop and go higher, who are in the system, who are learning new skills, and a number of them are already starting their own businesses, just having entered this process. In the presidency, we have established a project management office, and I want Unati to come also to interact with that office. Yes, she wanted there, because we are going to create opportunities for well over 300,000 young people, and most of them are women, and we are going to do that. We are going to support them in the various callings that they want to have, be it in business, be it in the skills that they want to learn, whether it is in farming or whatever. And I was really impressed to hear Unati saying they are already supporting 1.3 million women who participate in small businesses. Minister of Small Business, Minister Nchabeni, is here tonight, and she's been listening very closely, and she already has great plans, enormous plans. She's a woman, and she's young, she's innovative, and she's looking forward to working with the women in our country in small business. So we are going to go places when it comes to empowering women. We have no other option but to empower the women of our country. And that is my clear and direct focus. We are going to make sure that we embark on programs, we embark on initiatives that will empower the women of our country. UN Nguchani talks about co-ops, and I'm so delighted that tonight someone stood up to talk about co-ops. I can tell you with certainty that this matter arose in a very big way at the National Executive Committee of the ANC, where we immediately said, yes, we must admit that we've been neglecting the cooperative sector, but we also said from now on, we are going to pay attention to the cooperative sector because it is a huge job creator. We want to create co-ops and strengthen them and support them because they are able to draw in a lot of our people, not only in the rural areas, but also in the urban areas. We have found that many of our people do want to always work together in partnerships. And co-ops gives us that opportunity, and the real great possibilities for creating jobs, for getting our people to be economically active, reside in co-ops. And she wants, Comrade Ruth Bengu is the one who has always been chanting the story about co-ops. We are going to take it up. We will have that summit that you are talking about. So, you know, nearly all the things that you've raised, we are going to be able to do. Yes, we want to learn from what the Kenyans have been doing. The Kenyans have long been in the cooperative movement, and they've done extremely well. Some of their co-ops are productive co-ops. Some are service co-ops, and they produce really outstanding and wonderful goods. That's precisely where we also want to go. So you want an indaba on co-ops, you've got it, we are going to have it. Princess Itumeleng Moloi. Ngwaneso, ke utlwile hantle ntho o no e bua. Ka nnete ntho ya bogosi ra e amogela, really ANC really tjena. Our origins are linked to traditional leaderships. In fact, the ANC, as we all know, was established by the kings and the queens of our country, the chiefs of our country, and the traditional leaders. So we cannot run away from our roots. And we will, yes, do whatever we can to ensure that there is recognition for traditional leadership. We will also rally behind the empowerment of women traditional leaders and make sure that they are recognized, they are accepted for the positions that they occupy. But more importantly, yes, that radical economic transformation processes should never leave our traditional leaders behind. So we will focus on that. Now you say you want a summit for princesses. Wow. I would like to be invited to that one. Now, we have a House of Traditional Leaders. The House of Traditional Leaders is involved in a whole number of initiatives, and we will need to work with them to see how best some of the issues that you have raised can be addressed. And so I will tend to want to say, let us work with established organizations, organizations also contra lesser that are close to our movement, and that's what I will support. Amazayoni. And I'd like to thank the president of the ANC Women's League for making sure that we do work with that sector, which has been knocking on our doors, and the ANC Women's League has opened the door. And kuzawungena ne-ANC in that door as well. We are going to make sure that we interact, my sister, we will interact with Amazayoni. We will make sure that the tasks that you are involved in, because you are the ones who are in the most, terrible informal settlements where our people live. You are there, you minister to them, you counsel them, and that is where we would like the African National Congress to be alive, and I am glad that the ANC Women's League has taken up this issue, and we will be working with them, walking hand in hand every step of the way. And yes, you've raised another important issue, my sister, by saying officials in government often tend to sabotage what government decides. I must immediately say that it's not all civil servants who do that. Some of the civil servants do tend to do that. This coming month is going to be Batupili Civil Servants Month, where we are going to focus on public service, where we are going to try and seek to reorient and refocus and rededicate public servants to serve the people of our country and not themselves or their own interests. So I will want, we must work together as we reorient and we refocus our civil servants, so that our civil servants must indeed put Batupili and make sure that the interests of our people is precisely what is respected. Mapasika Litsike, Steve, my dearest sister. Steve raised a number of important issues and said very clearly that women are not a homogeneous group. Their diversity actually speaks to their beauty. The diversity speaks to what we must, as a nation, appreciate and embrace. And as a nation, we must treat all our people equally, irrespective of whatever sexual orientation they have. That is encoded in our Constitution. And equality must mean that everybody is accorded the respect, the recognition, and the acknowledgement of their own identities, of what they stand for, of what they are. And that is precisely what, as a nation, we have committed ourselves to. Yes, we still have to take a stand against patriarchy. There's still so much patriarchy in our nation. But I want to thank the ANC Women's League, because the ANC Women's League has been consistent on this issue of patriarchy. And in fact, they are about the only organization that has taken the lead. Others are following in their wake, about us all taking a stand against patriarchy and bringing patriarchy to an end. Because we all need to say there is no place for patriarchy in South Africa, and lesbian women should also not be left behind. And I like the terminology that Steve uses, that it must be intentional and it must be intersectional. That is the instruction she is giving me. Our Steve, it is a intentional and intersectional. But we accept that, and you say we need to have a committee in government to focus on this issue, particularly equality right across the board. My dearest sister, I have a minister in the presidency who works on women, disability, disabled people, as well as the youth. And this is something that she is clearly working on, setting up a number of committees, and I would want to see this one taking place as well. Comrade Maite is forward-looking on this issue, and I know that as a forthright person, she will be able to do so. Unonka is a curator, and she's an art lover. She wants a meeting with me. You've got your meeting at Luthuli House. Come and meet me. We will meet. Anisa, as usual, very articulate. As a student, as a young person, and always articulating the causes of students, the causes of women, the causes of black people. And she speaks very, very passionately about the dropout rate of university students, particularly women, which is caused by funding. Anisa, we want to work with you and other young people so that we address this issue. As a government, we have committed ourselves to funding young people from poor families and from working class families. And we have voted billions of rands, 15 billion and more, to fund the young people who are going to our universities. And what we now need to focus on is the outcomes of that funding, because as we see it now, only 50% of them do finally finish and get their qualification. I'd like to see the number or the percentage of young people who are qualifying with their diplomas, with their degrees, or with whatever qualification going higher and higher to justify the investment that we are making in our young people. In this regard, I must say that here our commitment is irrevocable. We are going to continue investing in our young people, and we will continue ensuring that our young people get the best education ever. Umandisa, from the NGO sector, and I'd like to congratulate you, Sis Mandisa. Ukuthi Ilitha Labantu is now celebrating 30 years. You're older than our democracy, and we applaud you for that. You've been doing fantastic work over the years. Now, we are going to have an NGO or social cohesion summit. And I immediately said to Sis Mandisa here that yes, it is being organized by the presidency. Clearly, as we organize this, there are organizations that we will hit and miss, and we want you, Sis Mandisa, to be part of this process and mobilize others. We want to do it because it's important that we should bring the NGO sector together. Now, NGOs play a critical role in the sustainable development journey that we have embarked on as a country. And we would like to see the NGO sector becoming more organized, more focused, more supported. Yes, you complain that you are not supported by government. That is precisely what we want to talk about. We want to talk about the assistance that government can give to the NGO sector, because you are the ones who are on the ground. You work on the ground, and once again, I thank the ANC Women's League for being networked and connected to the NGO sector. And thank you very much for ensuring that they are here. And we are going to ensure that that NGO space does not shrink. We want it to grow by leaps and bounds. And yes, we will be bold enough and give you space. That we will do, because it is in the NGO sector that we have some of the most talented, hard-working women in our country who care for our nation. And that is what we want to support. And of course, I'd like to be at the high tea as well. My sister Namani, we went to university together. I'm delighted that you are here as part of the intelligentsia. And you confirm that our country is heavily invested in education. That is so true. But what we are now wanting to focus on is to see better outcomes. And you also say that we're happy that there was an investment summit. We are going to have another investment summit this year in November. Last year, we raised close on to 300 billion rand of investment. This year, we want to go much higher than that. And we have the capacity and the capability. The investing community wants to see us as South Africans being seriously and irrevocably committed to our own development. They don't want to see us fighting amongst ourselves. When they see us fighting and, arguing amongst ourselves, whether in the governing party or in the country broadly, they think that there is political instability. And they walk away with their dollars and their euros and their pounds. Now, I want those dollars and euros to be here. But it also affects local investors. Local investors, and those are whom we are focusing more attention on. We want local investors to open up their wallets, to invest in our economy, to create jobs. Now, we are focusing on repositioning our economy. We are focusing on ensuring that indeed there is sustainable growth. We are going through a very challenging economic cycle at the moment that is also being made worse by our woes in Eskom and the other state-owned enterprises. And these woes did not start yesterday. They did not start last year. They've been there for the past 10 years or more. And we now need to correct those issues, address the challenges that we face, reposition our economy, and we will be coming up with clearer strategies of what we do, of getting everyone in our country to be part of this compact that we want to build, which my sister Namane speaks to, that let us all work together, let us all show unity, because where there is unity, there is growth. Where there is no unity, there is no growth. And we need to focus on that in a dogged way and ensure that indeed we invest in our economy so that our economy can grow. What I can say, comrades, is that we will turn our economy around. We are going to turn it around. Whether people like it or not, we are going to do it because we have it within us to be able to focus more closely to what needs to be done. And we are going to do it. Watch this space. My sister Florence, who stands here, and this is the beauty about the ANC Women's League. Comrade Bata, as president of the ANC Women's League, and Comrade Meoko, I take off my hats to you. You as the Women's League are a clear representation that the ANC is a diverse organization. Ibuta zonke. We bring them all here. And every sector of our society can have room, space to even stand up and speak where there are professors, where there are doctors, where there are lecturers, where there are ministers. Mayor Florence stands here and speaks so articulately about issues that concern domestic workers. And Mayor Florence, you're absolutely right. Akitsuhaku say, "Loku nimfuka nampundu, loku nambala hempele." Na stiba kuri I ainwe I mama Salfina lekaya. I ainwe yena, and when I stand proudly, I know that I am donned in the way that I am, and she even makes me look handsome. So that's the important part. So, Comrade Florence speaks about the minimum wage. Now, comrades, what we did last year was to inaugurate the national minimum wage, a demand that dates back to the inauguration or the adoption of the Freedom Charter. We were able to achieve it. Now we have a national minimum wage. Now the problem, though, is that we had to try and balance people losing jobs and getting paid at that minimum wage. And in fact, one of the fears that we had was that if we pegged it a lot higher, many domestic or household people were going to retrench their domestic workers. And we said, let us start it a little notch below the national minimum wage, and we are going to upgrade it and take it up. Comrade Oliphant, who was the Minister of Labor, did actually gazette the national minimum wage, the minimum wage determination for domestic workers. That took their wages a little higher. Now with the national minimum wage, we have taken it even a little bit higher. It is going to keep rising. One thing is for sure, that national minimum wage is going to keep on going up and up and up. So, Mayor Florence, yes, that minimum wage is not enough, particularly because the cost of living in our country is so expensive. And we know that our people are reeling under the weight of high minimum wage type of situation, a high cost of living type of situation. And I hear this very clearly, and I'm happy that Deputy Minister Pinky Muloi is here. She has heard very clearly. Ntweya Koda, for the workers who are the only workers who are covered in our country are workers in other sectors, and domestic workers are not covered. And they get injured, they get burned, they get all sorts of accidents, they get cut and all that. And CODA must therefore also cover domestic workers. Comrade Pinky, that is your task. You have got to make sure that it is happening. My sister Masingita, Wakaina Lui, Uri, and she speaks very passionately about the issue of dignity. That disabled people are often looked down upon. I was with her in Cape Town when we were having a meeting with young people, and she spoke about this so eloquently that our normal tendency and our default reaction when we see disabled people, we look down upon them, we tell ourselves that there's nothing much you can expect from them. But here is a young woman who drove from Cape Town to Cairo. Who has done that amongst us? Dololo. She has done it. But beyond that, she runs a TV show. She is very articulate at everything she does. And the pleasing thing is that she is so clear about what needs to be done for disabled people. And we will rely on her knowledge, her experience, her insights to make sure that we do good by disabled people. The ministry in the presidency that Comrade Maite leads is in the process of doing precisely that, and we are going to have a master plan as well on of disabled people. I keep making the mistake, which I need to lecture you about as well. We met with the organization that leads disabled people, and I kept talking about people living with disabilities. And they corrected me. They said, no, President, we are not living with disabilities. We are disabled. So you need to make that clear distinction. And I'd like to thank Masingita for articulating all these issues. Koni, who is unemployed, but also living with HIV, tells a very touching story. Most touching story. And as I was sitting here, I was saying, oh, I love the women of our country. And many of them are going through harrowing experiences. Most harrowing experiences that are so touching. I remember the other time when we held that women's summit, the gender summit rather, and they spoke in the most open and honest way. And I was quite touched and a little bit broken because some of the experiences were really hard for us to hear about. But these are things that we must hear about. Yesterday, we had a meeting with the ANC Women's League National Working Committee. Comrade Batabile said, President, we are going to say things that you may not want to hear. And they articulated almost 85 issues, I counted. And some of them, yes, were things that maybe we may not have wanted to hear, but they were said. And the important thing is that when women speak, women always speak so directly, so courageously, and babua neti most of the time. And Ralebucha, Comrade Koni also spoke so clearly, so directly, and I am sad that she remains unemployed. But I know that she's not the only one. Unemployment is the most pressing challenge and risk that we face as a nation. And it is this that we want to address. Unomazocha, I'm glad to hear that women-in-law love me. Oh, please, I love that. And Comrade Nomazocha, I haven't seen you for a long time. For saying that, I am willing to meet the women-in-law. Masi organize and go. Yes, we still live in a Deputy Minister. So it is true that there are white firms that still dominate the legal space in our country. Yes, and what we need to do, what we need to do, Comrade Nomazocha, is make sure that we keep talking about this issue. We must keep talking about it, and because unless we keep talking about it, it will never be corrected. So I would like us to keep talking about it so that you keep on insisting so that and until it is corrected. And I'm interested in these apartheid laws that you want to do pro bono work on so that we remove the apartheid laws from our statute books. That for me is important. So I'll take you up on that. And yes, we know that women are good mediators. And I see this because the ANC Women's League is the one that is leading the charge about unity in our movement. And yes, I'd like them to go beyond just talking about it and become mediators. Women are amongst the best mediators. And I saw it very clearly in a number of occasions. When Comrade Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma was the chair of the AU Commission, I saw her mediation skills in action as she was trying to get the warring parties in South Sudan to work together. And one time she stood up and said, I'm now talking to you as a mother, as a grandmother, and I am saying to you, make peace. And all the men just kept quiet. And thereafter, they started talking to each other, but it is still a long journey going there. Dr. Tulare, I'm so delighted that you've spoken about health as a prerequisite for sustainable development. That is the absolute truth. And we need to look at all aspects of health. And I'm glad that you've recognized and you know that the fourth industrial revolution can play a critical role in digital health, on a digital basis. And I'm delighted to know that health professionals in our country, many of them, are behind the NHI. And I'd like to say that the NHI is here to stay. Whether people like it or not, it's going nowhere. It's going into the roots of our country. And we are going to make sure that NHI does take off. In the past few days, there's just been too much criticism of the NHI. But it flies against what we did recently when Professor Olive Shisana led us all in signing the compact, the health compact, which brought together various organizations in our country, and all of them committed, including the private sector. Some in the private sector, all of them committed to making sure that the NHI does indeed take off. I'm delighted that you have raised the issue of filth in our cities. Now, this is a problem that is depressing to many of our people. Last year, we started a campaign. It soon petered off. And one understands that sometimes in economic challenging situations, people are depressed by this and this and that. We are going to get it off the ground once again. We cannot be beaten by Rwanda. Kigali is the cleanest city on the African continent. And we can turn our cities into clean cities where we take the waste and manage it properly and ensure that, yes, indeed, we create businesses out of waste, as one of my sisters said earlier. The issue of drugs is a major challenge, but we are addressing it and going to address it by coming up with a master plan at a national level. Ambassador Koleka Uti, she's a former ambassador. She was still an ambassador. She talks about implementation. Much as she spoke more about, UN Security Council silencing the guns, that's what we are focusing on. When we become chair of the AU, one of the tasks that we're going to be focusing on, yes, is sustainable development, particularly economic development, and saying that we can only have that development that Africa so yearns for if the guns are silenced. So we are going to be working on a program to ensure that in many parts of the continent, if not all, the guns do indeed get silenced. And we will be expected to lead a number of peace initiatives, instigate them, initiate them, so that there can be greater peace. I'm delighted you mentioned the Sustainable Development Goals. We are focused on Sustainable Development Goals. And what we are seeking to do through the 7 priorities that we identified in SONA is to address, yes, a number of those Sustainable Development Goals and move our country forward. There are 17 of them, and we have said we want 7 priorities. But in the 7 priorities, we want to address as many of these sustainable goals as much as possible. Now, implementation is going to be important. Comrades, we are now fashioning and panel beating into shape a wonderful implementation system or model, which is being finalized at cabinet level, and now it will go also to the Presidential Coordinating Committee, which has our premiers, which has our metro mayors and SALGA. We want to focus on implementation so that our implementation must be comprehensive and not be piecemeal, where we address one issue and after 5 years we come back and address another one. We want to have comprehensive implementation and deal with issues that affect our people at close range. Issues such as, yes, unemployment. We look at the district level and look at the initiatives and opportunities that there are to create jobs, how we can invite the private sector to invest. We should look at things like water, look at things like roads, health. We should also look at what we are doing to bring an end to gender-based violence, what we are doing to bring an end to crime in a particular area. The Tutuzela centers must be centers that women can go to when they are in danger or in trouble. So all this we want to do on a comprehensive basis through the district model that we are evolving. My sister colleague also spoke about waste, and that we should see waste as gold, and raises one of the most important issues which the 54th conference dealt with, the issue of land. Comrades, we are pressing ahead with land reform. Pressing ahead with land reform, but as we said in the Women's Day speech, land reform must mean that the women of our country must also become owners of land. They must not be bystanders. That also means that they must also have water licenses, water permits, so that they can farm. And that is precisely what we want to do. And this is what we want to utilize to unlock all the wealth in our country, and the women of our country must stand in line to be able to work the land. But more importantly, we also want the procurement system in our country. You know, the government is the biggest procurer of goods and services. We want women to be well placed, to even have set aside for women so that they can go and establish their own factories and make goods and provide services. That is something that I would like to focus on, because we need to unlock the economic energy in our country, and women being in the majority as part of the population, women being the ones who are always left behind, women who are the ones who are most unemployed, women who are the ones who wear the face of poverty, must now be empowered economically. And I'd like to see us move away from just talking about it, and we must do something about it, and we must do it now. Comrades, I think we've got we've got a lot that we can do, a lot that is on our plate, and all the things that you articulated. Comrade Tinchwalo was the last, and I didn't write all the things, but many of the things that you also said are things that are doable. Now I want to end by saying, as the governing party, we are irrevocably committed to the empowerment of our women. We've gone on to have equality within the ranks and structures of the African National Congress. That is never going to go backwards. That is never going to change. So you can tick that box and say the ANC is committed to ensuring that there will be equality. The economic empowerment one is the one that I would like to see us focus on more and more. And comrades, we are going to do it. We will be in continuous discussions with the leadership of the ANC Women's League. We will be identifying the various areas where women need to get ahead and be properly empowered. This we have to do for the sake of our country, for the sake of the future of our country, for the sake of our children and grandchildren as well. And we will do it. Watch this space. Thank you very much.
Malibongwe, igama lamakhosikazi, phatha Ramaphosa phatha. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end, or shall I say comrades, we've come to the end of the program. And I'd like to say, Mr. President, we, the daughters of Albertina Sisulu, Mary Moodley, Helen Joseph, Lillian Goyi, Rahima Musa, Charlotte Matleke, Winnie Mandela, Fatima Mier, Ruth First, Helen Suzman, Adelaide Tambo, Miriam Makeba, and many more. We are saying, even though many historic moments have occurred that indicate that as women, we are we still together, or sesikwenye inhlangano? Sesilambile. Sesekugqibeleni. So as I was saying, that it is confirmation, Mr. President, that meetings like these, as women, we are committed to seeing change. And we offer ourselves, it is tume, siyathumeka. We've come to the end of the program. I'd like to now call upon Deputy President of the ANC Women's League to give us a vote of thanks. Do we have to not sing? Just one? No, sing after Yacha. Wacha, okay.
Alibongwe. President, let me start by saying to you, I want you to know that as women of South Africa, especially as women of ANC Women's League, we have decided that we are going to break the wall that is amongst us and make peace and assist ANC to turn around the economy of this South Africa.
As ANC of the Women's League, I want you to go and tell the ANC, the NEC, ANC, and the top 6 that we are united and we are going to push them to be united because we know that without ANC, we are going to be nothing. President, I want you to know that as women of the Free State of South Africa, women of ANC, Alibongwe, President, I want you to know that ANC Women's League is supporting you 100%, and ANC Women's League is going to protect you 24 hours, and we are going to protect all the leadership of the African National Congress. Asijigi. And we are quite aware that those who want to destroy the head of the organization, they want to destroy the organization. And as Nzogwala, we are going to defend you, we are going to support you, we are going to be with you. And we know now we have many problems. But as ANC of the Women's League, re batla ho wena le hanka ka tsamaya khohlong ya moriti wa lefu nkebe ka tshwa bobile ha bolebong hobane o na le nna Pesalema 23 go fa molaetsa o. But thank you very much for spending the night with us. Go and tell the members of the NEC who the ANC Women's League is indeed committed to the unity of the African National Congress. We are committed and we are going to make sure if we need to, because we want to see our children are not working, our children are unemployed, our children are taking drugs, and that's exactly what we are going to do. Thank you very much, President, and God be with you. And we know how to push. We know how to push. And we are going to push for the unity of African National Congress. No more PhD. We are not going to entertain women that are destroying other women. Harinoli entertainer at all. We are going to be united and build the African National Congress. We are going to do exactly what the women of 1956 in Toba saying, to become united, and they left the legacy for themselves. Leona, 20 years to come, 30 years to come, our grandchildren will be saying, when problems were there in the ANC Women's League came together and defended the African National Congress. We are going to push. Let me also take this opportunity of thanking our ultimate Mudimu Arona for giving us our president like Comrade Batabile. Most of the people, they don't know Batabile. Now who are working with Batabile, we know her. And Batabile, please do not stop what you are doing to us. Telling us each and every day that ANC comes first. And comrades, there is no way that we can let ANC to die in our hands. But thank you very much. Thank you with your team, with members of NEC, with SG Miojo. Please do not let anything come between us. Let us push and make sure that 30 years to come, our grandchildren will be telling others about us, women of 2019. Push! President don't know about push, but when we push, things are going to turn around. And I also want to thank women from different professions who have made us proud. Your presence have made us, and our president and the country is going to make us a little bit stronger. I'm saying that because I know that you women, you possess power. And once you can just combine your power, things are going to turn around. Dintho di tla tjhentjha. President, ke bana batho bana. When you want to see things changing for the best, for the better, ke bana batho bana. Give them land, o tla bona batho bana ba tla etsa. Give them work, o tla bona batho bana ba tla etsa. Ke bana batho bana ba tla o thusa to change everything. Mafumahadi Marenaka, President, I just want to say to you, Queens, thank you. Ke kopa le eme fela, re ke re le shapele matsoho. I never realized Bonang, ANC Women's League, it's your home. Renale Luna will try to support you, and I know the president really support Rea Lebua, and we want to salute you. To all participants who have left their homes to be here today, we say, long live South Africa, alibongwe siyabonga. Le tsamaye hantle, le itlhokomele, le drive hantle, ba tshwantseng robala, ba robale. Matsela, we can't just go here without you singing something. Okay, Matsela.
Can I just quickly make an announcement so that we can start singing and make way for our Honorable President as he leaves us. Hopefully he'll have dinner with us before he heads home. We are serving dinner at the pavilion. Ushers will show you how to get there. Please, there's enough food for all of us. To Sarona, when we host Mqimbi. Very much. And